Welcome to Concept Learn.
So if you see here, this rice stem borer, it is a monophagous pest. Here the word monophagous represents, here the mono means single or one. Here these rice stem borer, it is found feeding only upon the rice plant and it cannot survive feeding upon the other plants. This rice stem borer is known as the monophagous pest of this paddy. Its scientific name is Scirpophaga insectivus, which is belonging to the order Lepidoptera, and here it is the moth. And then coming to its marks of identification, there are very clear differentiation marks in between the female and the male moth of this yellow stem borer. So here if you see, this is the female and this is the male moth, and as you see here, these forewings, these are brightly colored when compared to that of the dull colored wings of the male moth. And one more major is that of these black spots are very much prominent in case of the stem borer, that too in case of the female moth. But when coming to the male moth, even though these black spots are present here, those are not that conspicuous, means those are not that clearly seen. Coming to this female, we will be having one more differentiation, that is it will be having the anal tuft of hairs towards its anal end of the abdomen. So these anal tuft of hairs, generally whenever these female moth will lays the cluster of the eggs, and those eggs will be usually covered by this tuft of hairs as a term of its protection of its eggs from other predators and parasitoids. This larval stage, it is usually found feeding within that of the stem. As it is boring, as it is making a hole and boring inside of the stem region, it's known as the stem borer, and hence the name is given as the rice stem borer. How it is going to enter? Generally, you see here, this is the leaf blade tip. So if this is the single leaf, towards its end of the leaf blade, we will be having eggs. These eggs are usually laid in clusters, means they are laid in some group. That is, egg masses are laid near the tips of the leaf blades. And this, as soon as the larva will hatch from these eggs, then what does this will do? This will just feed upon the, first they will be feeding upon the leaf tissues, and then as such at the nodal regions, here they will bore inside into the stem, and after boring into the stem region, they will feed upon the entire internal contents of the stem, and its presence here it can be noticed by means of this fecal matter. So here this fecal matter presence helps us to detect the presence of this yellow stem borer larva inside those stems. So this is the vegetative stage where these larvae, as it will be feeding upon the entire internal contents of the stem, it leads to these leaves. These leaves becomes, here you can see, they will become hollow and these leaves will be dried. We can easily pull out also, and those leaves entirely they will become dry, and that is known as the dead heart symptom in the vegetative or the early stage of the crop. And during its late stage or else its reproductive stage, that is at the heading stage, here you can see this is the late stage, that is reproductive stage. Entire contents of the stem have been eaten away. It leads to the formation of such kind of the white hairs. At this stage and at this stage, we can go for some type of the management practices in order to control these. But after attainment of these white hairs, our management practices usually does not provide that good results. You can also detect its presence by means of seeing the frass at its feeding stage.